In this video, I am going to speak about threatened and high-value medicinal herb Angelica glauca and its propagation and cultivation techniques for the hilly regions of the Himalaya. Angelica glauca is one of the medicinal and aromatic plant of the Himalaya and is widely used by the indigenous community for different purposes. Angelica glauca is endangered plant of the Himalaya and is locally known as Chora and Gandrayan in Sanskrit Chorakah. Angelica glauca is an aromatic plant up to 2.5 meter tall and stem hollow, purple tinged, leaves deeply divided by or tripinnate, ovate to lanceolate, and inflorescence is compound umbel with many rays. Flowers greenish yellow and white. Seeds small and winged. Angelica glauca is distributed in the Western Himalaya from Kashmir to Uttarakhand in alpine, scrub, and subalpine forests, shades between 2700 meter to 3700 meter elevation. It is used in the dyspepsia, constipations, ulcers of palate, and dysentery and menorrhagia. It has carminative, stimulant, anti-inflammatory, and antimicrobial properties. The powder of the root is administered in warm water for the children, especially for the stomach ailments, and it is also used as used for flavoring confectionery and liquors. Leaves and stem also used medicinally and act as a stimulant and used in stomach troubles. And it has benefits for the clean and beautiful hair growth, and it serves anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial as it serves anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial property, and it is illegally and extensively collected in the wild for its essential oil, um, for its roots, and essential oil is high value essential oil is extracted from the roots of this plant. Now, cultivation techniques or agro techniques for this high value medicinal plants. First, I will take climate. It requires cool and temperate climates and can be cultivated between 2000 to 3000 meter elevations, and it requires deep rich poor and moist soil with shady situations, and for its ideal cultivation plenty of organic manure is required. Propagation materials, seeds and root stocks spread. It can be propagated by seeds and root stock spreads. And agro techniques for raising propagules. First, we develop nursery. In nursery techniques, seeds are immediately sown after harvesting during the November and December month. Seeds are sown in poly house, and seed viability is very low, and moist seeds have better germination potential than the dry seeds, and germination takes place within 25 to 40 days. Propagule rate and pre-treatment is essential. Pre-treatment is essential before sowing, especially in urine of the cow urine, and cow urine is the cheapest method, and approximately 50,000 plants are needed for a 1 hectare land, and seeds 6.2 kilogram seeds are required for its cultivation in 1 hectare land area. The planting in the field land before planting in the transplanting in the field, land should be well plowed, and field should be well plowed thoroughly, followed by harrowing to bring soil to the fine tilth, and fertilizer applications is required um, for mixing in the land, and seedlings are transplanted 45 into 45 centimeter apart in the main field in April and May. Apical portion of the root apical portion of the root cuttings transplanted during the rainy season, and rainy season at 45 centimeter apart, and by this method plants can be harvested within the 2 years. It is better than the seed sowing method. And green manuring, sheep and goat manure is good for its cultivation, and approximately 15 to 20 tons of the manure is required for 1 hectare land initially, and at the time of the cultivation, especially at the time of cultivation in lower altitudes before planting, and at higher elevations where forest litter is available, it enhances the growth as well as survival and yield. Transplanting the seedlings to the mean field and optimum spacing after 4 to 6 months growth of the seedlings raised inside the greenhouse or in a small nursery. Transplanting is done at the beginning of the rainy seasons, and raised beds are better for the growth. If site is moist or has a good irrigation facilities, the transplanting can be done during the April and May rather than the rainy seasons. Okay. Next, in intercultural practices, operations, weeding periodically is required, and as and when required, irrigation. Next is the practices, the irrigation practices, irrigation twice a week during the dry seasons. And disease and pest control, no disease and pests have been reported for this for the cultivation of this species. And harvesting under cultivation, harvesting can be done within 2 to 3 years. Roots are harvested during September and October when seed become partially mature, and harvesting can be done after every 2 years once the cultivation is well established. After harvesting, the rhizomes and apical portions is transplanted in the field for the future crops, and the remaining portions of the roots washed with water to remove the soil, and cut into the pieces and in shade for and dry in shade or a year, and after drying, roots are stored and packed in the cloth bags. The roots contain 1 to 1.5% of the volatile oil, valeric acid, and angelic acid, and lactones, and sesquiterpenes, and terpene, alcohol, and angelicin. The yield after harvesting at high altitude, especially in Garhwal region, nearly 500 to 600 kilogram per hectare yield is